Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Hustlin' Hoops off-season preview. Today, we're going to be talking about my Detroit Pistons. Now, I'm not going to give you a history lesson. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about. I'm not gonna rehash. What I am gonna do is simply state that the Detroit Pistons, despite what a lot of people think, are not just restoring. We're not, because there's a little bit more to it. The Detroit Pistons are reclaiming, and where we're at right now, I'd say we're pretty damn close. So let's talk about it. Firstly, congratulations, Monty Williams, getting the bag and getting the opportunity to coach the most talented and dedicated young up-and-coming roster in the NBA. The Detroit Pistons damn near have it all, and despite dropping to 5, even though we were the worst team in the league last year, we were still able to get Off-Szn Thompson. And, you can say whatever you want about the shooting or level of competition in Overtime Elite. You can point somewhere with any player. But with Off-Szn Thompson, what you're getting in, a 6'7" wing with 7-foot wingspan, is a very intelligent playmaker and defender, a team player, a guy who cares and plays for his team to win, an elite cutter and lob passer and finisher, a pretty decent middle game creator, realistically a solid enough shooter where I'm not convinced that he can't become decent from 3, consistent, from when open and off catch. And end of the day, man just loves to hoop. And between what I've read about him or from what I've listened to from him, he's going to fit right in with the Detroit Pistons. He's going to, really just add a level of athleticism, defensive aggressiveness, and connectivity at the wing position that, we haven't really had in a minute. We really haven't. So welcome, Off-Szn Thompson. Extremely excited to see in Summer League in like 2 weeks. Some shit like that. Speaking of Summer League, someone I'm also excited to see. Congratulations, Marcus Sasser, for getting drafted. Detroit Pistons traded up to number 25 and grabbed a really solid backup guard for Ivy and Cade. And there's there's been some conversation on Twitter, on Detroit, on Pistons Twitter, about his fit next to or over Killian. I agree with the majority. He might actually fit pretty decently next to Killian as an off-ball shooter and occasional creator and cutter and everything like that. You surround Killian with more shooting, like Sasser, like Livers, who we just extended, or we picked up his option. He didn't extend him, we just picked up his option. And hopefully Isaiah Stewart continues shooting. It's just, realistically, you look at this team and you look at the 2 draft picks. Obviously, according to Troy himself, defense. That's what we value. You win championships, you win games, you win possessions on an effort, and these 2 guys are very driven players for sure. Now when it comes to free agency coming up soon, we don't really have that many decisions to make as of players on our roster. We really only have Hamid Diallo, Corey Joseph, and Ronnie McGruder all on cap holds. So obviously, they can go somewhere else. But realistically, we know Rodney's staying. Corey, and then Hami, I'm not totally against Hami, but I just don't love the idea of him taking minutes away from Osar, Marcus, even Isaiah Livers. Definitely not Alec Burks. So yeah, I don't know really what it looks like for that, but we are rumored to be extremely interested in pursuing Cam Johnson with the Brooklyn Nets. Despite him having restricted, the Nets having restricted rights to Cam and the ability to match any offer. Realistically, if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, you have the ability to I wouldn't say let him walk necessarily, but if he's offered over 4-110, me personally, I'm not matching that. If I'm the Detroit Pistons, I'm not offering him over 4-110. I think that's my absolute cap, but that's also probably the exact amount that would be a little bit too much for the Nets to want to match. So, I'm not a cap expert. I'm not a free agency expert. Pure conjecture, but obviously the shooting and potential defense of Cam Johnson is a huge selling point for this Detroit Pistons roster that I wouldn't say desperately needs shooting, but as of this next season, we're I don't want to say we're banking, because I personally am very confident that the likes of Cade and Ivy are going to be plus 3-point shooters, but Cam Johnson would be a nice add for sure. I'd like to see that. I think there's questions obviously about throwing that much money to a guy with that kind of, just be honest, that kind of ceiling and limitations. I mean, we've seen games played, we've seen amount of games played, like games missed, and we've seen cold streaks from Cam. So it's obviously new situation, new environment, new whole new person basically could be possible, but I don't know. I don't have too many thoughts about that specifically. I think if you snag Cam, Harrison Barnes, who I would honestly, a 1+1 or a 2 would be cool. Do I know what the amount would be? No, I haven't. I don't know. But if you strike out, you strike out, and you grab Yuta Watanabe and fucking another point guard or something. I don't really know. You gotta, if you strike out, just grab cheap shooters, maybe a stretch big. Trade James Wiseman and Marvin Bagley, because repetitive at this point. We don't want to become the Timberwolves. And this is gonna be a long one, but I don't give a fuck, because this is my team. Now, when it comes to the future, when it comes to next season, when it comes to next season, you're looking at a starting lineup, in my opinion, of Cade, Ivy, Osar, hopefully your free agent acquisitions. If not, going to be Bojan Bogdanovic and Jalen Duren. Off the bench, you'd have Killian, Burks, Livers, Stewart, Wiseman, or Bagley. But I mean, honestly, one of the two is getting traded in the next 2-3 weeks. So whichever one of those two is the backup for the next year. I don't. Both of them aren't the backup. Give me a Zach Collins. Not that they're gonna give us Zach Collins, but just realistically, there's not huge, massive steps I want the Detroit Pistons to really take this offseason. I think you already took them. You took the biggest steps when it comes to one of the hardest parts of rebuilding, the draft. You got lucky repeatedly, despite what people want to say about Killian. He's there. You got Isaiah Stewart, who, in my opinion, is still huge for this team. Then Cade, obviously. I mean, not getting number one, in retrospect, would have fucking hurt, because Cade Cunningham is a Detroit Piston at heart. And then you followed it up with Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren, who you stole from the fucking Hornets and Knicks. I mean, goddamn. And now we got Oscar Thompson and Marcus Sasser. We have filled out our young core. We have, not that we can't keep going. Not that we're gonna just throw draft picks away, but we're moving out of the rebuilding, restoring time. We're moving forward in the timeline. And I'll end with this: do not be surprised if next season Cade Cunningham is all NBA. Jaden Ivey possibly could be most improved. And Jalen Duren, I genuinely would not be surprised if in the next 4 years he's on an all-star team, probably starting. I'm so excited for this Detroit Pistons team and what they can do. We didn't even really talk basketball yet, because that's gotta wait for the free agencies. But this is gonna be a really fun season. I'm really looking forward to overpaying for League Pass.